Well, no matter how often you get up in front of a group of people, you still, at least I do, get nervous. As Brent was finishing up, I could feel the heart racing and the blood pressure going up. Because Ada does bite. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but so I'll try to get through this quickly. Yogi Berra. I asked my girls at the house who Yogi Berra was, and I got two answers that said he was a cartoon bear, and then I got one answer that said he was an athlete, I think. And that was pretty good. So tonight we're going to start with Yogi Berra, not the cartoon bear, but the baseball player who played for the hated New York Yankees in the 40s and 50s and 60s. He's a Hall of Fame catcher. He passed away just a few years ago. But what he may be most remembered for is not his baseball career, but his sayings. He's the guy that's credited with saying, "It ain't over till it's over." And I got a few more saying. He's got several of them. Nobody comes here anymore because it's too crowded. Half the lies they tell about me aren't true. And in one interview he did late in life, they were asking him about all these sayings, and he says, I quote, "I never said half the things I said." And we call them today yogiisms, and you can Google that, and there's lots of them. But a yogiism is maybe what we would technically call a paradox. And a paradox, I have a definition here for us, a seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement or proposition that when you investigate it or it is explained, it may prove to be well-founded or true. And my text for this evening comes from Proverbs chapter 1, verses 6 and 7, and it says, "A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings." One of the teachings from that I think you can glean is that it tells us that among the reasons we should study, or should study what Solomon's saying here, the reason we should study the parable is that we understand the parable. Jeff mentioned this morning, he read 4 chapters, and then, what did I just read? And I think that Solomon was saying we have to dig a little deeper. And the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, is rife with paradoxes. It has a lot of straightforward teachings that are simple to understand. How to pray, as Brent read. How to live, honesty, integrity. Don't lie, don't steal. So there are certainly straightforward teachings. But there's also, these riddles, these parables that Jesus used, these paradoxes that require us and should make us dig a little deeper, right? Think upon these things, mull over them. For example, humble yourselves to be exalted. Strength through weakness, as Paul would teach. And in Acts, receiving through giving. These are things that if all biblical truth was straightforward and easily comprehended, I don't know that we would have the desire, maybe that's not the right word, to dig deeper, think about that, and then the challenge, of course, as we mull over this and we look at these parables and we look at these paradoxes, is then, we struggle to read it, we struggle to comprehend it, i.e. Revelation. That's a tough book. But then we also struggle to apply it, which is the important thing, to make application. And to make application, if you struggle to learn something, I think you learn it better. You learn to appreciate it more. Grace started driving a couple years ago. She hit Tommy and Rosie's car in the parking lot. Their car was parked. It was not moving. All right? But she's gotten better. I would say. She's hit less and less things. And then Friday night, or I think it was Saturday, maybe it was Saturday, we let her drive to Parkersburg. And that's a big step for us. And she only got lost for about 30 minutes. She went to Ohio instead of Jackson County. But the more you do things, the more you study it and mull over it and consider it, the better you get at it. You could write a book, I think, and there's several books probably out there just on the paradoxes of the Bible. I've got a couple more that we think about. Gaining or finding something through losing, living through dying. We look at just think about Jesus, the divine nature and the human nature of Christ, the Godhead. One God, but it's Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God. Those are things that I think the Holy Spirit and the writers, as they were guided, are there by design to make us curious, to make us study more instead of just read it, right? And I have here and I'll finish up, the Old Testament through the New Testament, through Jesus, through, Solomon and Job and Ecclesiastes and the parables of Jesus and the New Testament authors. That that style of teaching is through the Bible. And I like this comment, and I read this in a book, and this is what makes the Bible really unique in this aspect. It's not too difficult for the simple-minded, right? It is not. But nor is it too simple for the highly intelligent. And that's super rare. So that's the first talk of the evening. Next.